Welcome to Primary ypww Lesson 9. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is Back to Bethel, Part 1, Erecting the Pillar. The lesson scripture is coming out of Genesis chapter 28, verses 18 through 19, Genesis chapter 35, verse 1, and then verses 6 and 7, and verses 14 through 15. The memory verse. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, even a pillar of stone. And that's Genesis chapter 35, verse 14. The target for today's lesson. The Lord wants his children to know that erecting the pillar at Bethel was Jacob's way of honoring God. A pillar was a stone or column that stood upright in a building. It was a wide, pole-like item that supported the roof or marked an entrance. On land, it marked a place and represented a purpose. A man named Moses set up 12 pillars to represent the 12 tribes of Israel when he built an altar for God at a mountain named Mount Sinai. There, God told him to build a tabernacle, which was a sanctuary or place of worship. It was also known as the house of God. It was built for the people to worship God. Jacob erected a pillar for himself so he could have a place to talk to and meet with God. One day, Jacob found himself back in the city once called Luz. His sons were sinful. They did a terrible thing to some people, called the Shechemites. The prince of Shechem had hurt their sister. He tried to make up for this and wanted to marry her. Her brothers used the opportunity to get revenge. They killed many men who were very weak and sick. Jacob feared that his neighbors would hear about it and retaliate. Retaliate meant that their enemies would get them back. God told Jacob to go back to Bethel and stay there. He told him to build an altar. He reminded Jacob that it was the place where he came in contact with God for the first time. There, the pillar of God's presence would support him. So Jacob did as God commanded him. He built an altar and called the place El Bethel, which means God of Bethel. Altogether, it means God is the God of the house of God. God is everywhere. He does not need a physical place to live, but we as his people need a place to worship. The people in the Bible needed to recognize the place where God dwelled. Jacob took the stones that he used for a pillow and set them up for a pillar. He poured oil over the top of them. He made a vow to God. The pillar marked the place where Jacob knew God appeared to him. It became known as the place where God blessed him, changed his name to Israel, and met him multiple times. Jacob knew that going back to Bethel was the best choice he ever made. The questions for today's lesson. Number 1. What is a pillar? How is the pillar used in a building? And how was a pillar used on the land? Number 2. Why did Jacob go back to Bethel? And what did he build there? Number 3. The pillar marked the place where Jacob met whom? And what does El Bethel mean? The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.